Okay, guys, welcome to today's Power Half Hour. We're going to squeeze this into a 30-minute lunch break, which really is about all you need on reach outs for a day. You don't need 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of reach outs and reaching out to people. 30 minutes is a lot if you're actively reaching out to people. That's a lot of time. So the cool thing about Plexus and reaching out to people is it doesn't necessarily take a lot of time to do reach outs. Follow-ups may be a little bit different. Hosting some meetings if you want to do that, answering questions might take more time, but the actual event of a reach out does not take very much time. And we're going to kind of prove that here this morning. So the idea behind this Power Hour is in preparation for the men-led Plexus Reset next week. So this can be used for men, this can be used for women, it doesn't really matter. I have more women on my team than I have men on my team. So I reach out to whoever I think needs the products. But like I said, next week, as we all know, starting on Tuesday, we'll be doing a 3-day reset led by myself, Jordan, and Chris Casey. So it'll be a good time. We'll have fun. I think we'll have some laughs, and we'll have fun with getting healthy and improving our health and helping one another out. So one of the things is with this business is sharing with people. And I think that one of the major reasons why people don't succeed in this business is they just simply don't reach out to people. It's really, in my opinion, they just don't do the work. It's not because they're not able. It's not because they're not equipped. It's not because they don't have enough knowledge. It's not because they don't have the internet. It's like the reason really is why people don't succeed in this business is two things. One, they don't do the work, and two, they quit. So part of doing the work is reaching out to people. And there's a lot of fear that comes with reaching out to people. I understand. I still have people. I've been at this 7 years. I'm a Diamond Ambassador in Plexus Worldwide. I should have everything figured out, right? Wrong. There's still guys and girls on my list I have not reached out to, right? So I understand, you don't want to come across as like that guy or that girl, who's you don't want to be slimy or anything like that. The thing is, none of us want to be that, right? So my answer to that is, well, then don't be. As we reach out to people and talk to them, sometimes I think we put on these hats. Like if I'm out in the barn lot and I'm talking to the guys, I have my barn lot hat on, right? And then when I go and talk to someone about Plexus, all of a sudden I become an absolute genius. And I have a doctor's degree in gut health and the study of microbiome, I think. And I start using words like, so, Jordan, how's your microbiome going along? You know that the gut dysbiosis is a real problem here in America because blah, 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 blah. It's not how I talk, right? So I think sometimes when we reach out, we make it more difficult than it really needs to be. So when I reach out to a guy or a girl, depending on my relationship with that person, I just talk to them like I would normally talk to them. I don't put on like a real smart microbiome hat and try to impress them with, this fancy wording or anything like that, because they would think, what in the world is wrong with Justin? Because they know I don't talk that way. So I think we just need to be real. Just talk to people like you would normally talk to them. Like right now, I'm just talking with you guys. And when I do some reach outs here in a few minutes, as we're all going to do, my thing is just talk to them like you would normally talk to them. I can give a script, I can give an idea of what to share, but really you're going to have to put it in your own words. It's kind of like if I were to reach out the way my wife reaches out to people, if she were to reach out to people for me, my friends would honestly think I'd lost my mind, because all the emojis and the hearts and the glitter and all the things, hey, like how she says stuff, like I don't talk that way. So, you know, you're going to have to kind of develop your own script. Like I said, I can give you an idea of what to share, but you might have to tweak it a little bit to fit who you are as a person. Because your network likes you. Like they're attracted to you as an individual. They're not attracted to you acting like somebody else. Does that make sense? And I think that's encouraging. I think that that's really encouraging. But one of the things is, like I said, one of the reasons why a lot of people, I think, in this business don't succeed is because they're not sharing with people what we have to offer. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to do some reach outs together here. And so one thing okay, so here's a fear. Well, I don't know who to reach out to. Okay, well, go through, make a list. This is something we developed a long time ago, 7 years ago, as a list of start writing down people that you think would benefit from the products and or the business opportunity. Make 2 lists, right? One for the business, one for the products. Who would be really great at this business opportunity? Who would really benefit from improving their gut health? Who would really benefit from balancing blood sugar, weight loss, more sleep, more energy, whatever thing that your friends have? Start coming up with a list. Another thing to do is this, is if you're having trouble even who to reach out to, pray, ask. You have not because you ask not. When we started Plexus, when Megan and I both started Plexus, we were praying for 2 things. We were praying for a business opportunity so I could be home more often. And we were praying for help with her health issues because she was really struggling with her health. We prayed and God sent Plexus. Was not what I ever expected, but I'm thankful he sent it. And so when you're thinking of who to reach out to, ask. And then respond. You know, sometimes we're really good at asking, and it's like, you know, show me who would really benefit from these products, and this name will just come right through your mind as you do it, and it's the scariest person on your list. Reach out to that person. It didn't come across your mind by accident, and it didn't come across your mind at that specific time for no reason at all. There's a reason for it. Respond to that, right? So that's one thing I would do. If you don't already have a list going, pray for a list. Because like I said, that's how we started, and I'm convinced that people are praying for what we have to offer. I know too many testimonies. I've been at this too long. I've seen too many amazing things. Just ask and then respond to whatever names, write down the name as it comes, and then reach out to them. So one thing we're going to do really quick, does everybody have a list of a few people to reach out to? Or do you need a few minutes to come up with just a few people? Good. Okay. So what we're going to do is just take your list. If you don't have a list, take a few minutes and just quiet yourself. Just be quiet, pray, ask, and just be quiet and just see what names come to mind. See what names are given to you. And then that starts to become your list. So what we're going to do probably for about 10 minutes, 10-ish minutes, is we're going to start reaching out to the people on your list, or to the names that are starting to come to mind. This can be reach outs to guys. This can be reach out to girls. We're equal opportunity servants, right? So we're going to help whoever. We're going to work with the living is what we're going to do. So we're going to work with it. We're going to do about 10 minutes. Just start doing some reach outs. See, there's the lovely Megan Goff on the iPhone coming in. I'm curious if she is wanting to participate or if she is critiquing me. What do you guys think? We'll find out. So anyway, what we're going to do one of the things I'm going to reach out to guys with, I am going to start to reach out specifically about the reset that's coming up on Tuesday. So for example, the first name on my list is David. So when I reach out to David, I'm going to reach out and I'm not going to ask him how his dogs are doing. I'm not going to ask him how the weather in Austin, Texas is. I'm not going to ask him how his business is doing. Why? Because it's dishonest. I don't care about, I mean, let's be honest. I really don't care about the weather in Austin. And I think this is important in light of reach outs, is because we read sometimes it's like, hey, I know I haven't, talked to you since junior high. How are the kids? Oh, the kids are great, growing like weeds. Man, that is great. Have you heard of Plexus? Like, it's so disingenuous. Just hit them straight out of the gate. You know why you're messaging. Maybe you do like their kids. I don't know. David doesn't have any kids. He has 2 dogs. I already know this because I already have a relationship with him. My thing is, if you're going to reach out to someone about the products or about the business, just come out of the gate swinging. Just tell them why you're reaching out to them. I think people appreciate that rather than this massage sort of an idea, or this, I don't know. I was going to say foreplay, but I don't think that fits, but whatever. You get the idea, right? Like, it's just be honest as you're reaching out to people and let them know why you're reaching out. I think that people appreciate that. I know I appreciate that. I've had people take me out to lunch before to catch up and then throw the business plan right down on the table in front of me. I didn't like it. I actually liked the business plan, but because of the way it was presented to me, I purposely didn't sign up with that guy. I went with somebody else just because I didn't like the approach. So as you're approaching people, as you're reaching out to them, I would suggest just being completely honest right from the front why you're reaching out. So for example, for David, I have David here. I'm just going to reach out and tell him, I'm just like, because I've talked to him about Plexus before. I'm already in a relationship with David. And he knows why I'm going to be reaching out, right? So I'm just going to say, hey, I'm getting ready to lead a 3-day, there we go. I'm getting ready to lead a 3-day Plexus reset, or a 3-day nutritionally supported fast on Tuesday. I want you to join me. What are your thoughts? Like, super fast, right out of the gate. I just let him know exactly why I'm messaging him. Because if you order your reset before the end of the day, you should have it in time and you can join us. Just something simple, something direct, especially if you're reaching out to a guy. I think direct is good. So does that make sense? Cool. Any questions about that before we just take a few minutes and start doing some reach outs? Again, don't overthink it. Yes, Josiah.
What's on Tuesday?
The 3-day reset. We're doing a men's led 3-day reset on Tuesday of next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay. Gotcha.
And so, but that's how I would reach out. That's my recommendation. Now you tweak the words however you want. But that would be what I would suggest. So if no one has any questions, we have a Carissa agrees. Cool. Hey kiddos. So what we're going to do, we're just going to take 5 to 10 minutes really fast, do some reach outs. The list that you have, or the list that you are developing through prayer and just being quiet for a minute and see what names come to mind. Start reaching out to those people on the list, and then I'll mute because I'm going to start sending messages. You can type the messages out, or you can send a voice message. I like voice messages. So I'll be sending some voice messages. So we're gonna do that 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll come back on here and finish up. Cool. Hi ho, here we go. Okay, perfect. There we go. That's about 10 minutes, maybe 11 minutes. Maybe 11 minutes. Did anybody get any messages sent out? Anybody? Am I the only one?
I sent out 3 or 4.
Nice. See, the cool thing
Yep,
is,
I got
go ahead.
5 or 6.
Nice. Nice. And Carissa has some great tips here too, about making lists of people to reach out to. So pay attention to those in the comments. So one of the things is I want to point out is really, I sent out 10 voice messages and 1 typed message. The last typed messages, the last message was a typed message. And it's one of those friendships where I'm like, what did I say? Like, I'm not even going to tell him what the reset is. You need to do the plexus reset with me next week. Like, and he will. So that'll be cool. He's, yeah. So that's one thing cool about some of the relationships that are tight. You can just say, hey, dude, do this with me next week. So any questions about the reach outs? Anything holding you back or anything that is scary or confusing or anything like that? I think the cool thing is it took me 10 minutes to do 10 reach outs. And like I said, the reach outs really don't take very much time. The follow-ups take more time. Sending information takes more time, right? Samples, those sorts of things. But the actual event of a reach out really doesn't take that much time once you have a list of people to reach out to. I think that that's the key, is having the list of people to reach out to. You have a Facebook list, a Facebook friends list, there's a list. You have people you can put in, friends, family, coworkers, those sorts of people in mind. And like I said, pray. I think that's key, is just ask God, who needs what we have to offer? Who could really benefit from improving their health with the products that we have? Who could really benefit from a business opportunity? Because I think that we're, the whole idea of a side business, a side hustle, or, an online business or something, that is not something that's just set aside for the overachievers, right? Like it's almost becoming essential. We're hitting a day where in our culture, in our economy, where really a side hustle or some extra income is becoming essential, not just something for, a small group of overachievers that want to make some extra money, right? And so don't be afraid, even when you're reaching out. Like I said, this kind of call is specifically about preparing for the reset next week, but the same idea as you're reaching out to people, reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out to people about the business. Jessica Heffley, they call her Boss Heff, who would be above Carissa. She joined for the business. Like, there are people that want to, they'll join for the business. Those people are out there. And so don't be afraid when you're reaching out to just ask about the business, and ask if you can share more with them about the business opportunity. So any questions anybody have? We can go over a little bit. I don't care.
I got a quick question.
What's up, buddy?
So just practically speaking, in terms of your reach outs and follow-up lists that you make, what's your kind of, like, when you go to bed the night before, or like when you're done working your work hours, the day before, in terms of planning for the next day? Like, how do you keep track of everything in your head when you make it? Because, I'm new to this, and I've reached out to 20 plus, over the past 3 days, and just keeping track of it. How do you do it logistically? I
would say you have to keep track on a list. You have to put your brain on paper of some sort. Otherwise, I mean, as you start doing this, you start reaching out a lot. You'll start having a lot of responses. You'll have a lot of follow-ups to do. And quite honestly, if you don't write them down, people get lost in the shuffle. There may be pen and paper have always been what I've done. there may be some sort of, a digital option or something that someone maybe that's more techie than me would have. If anybody else on here has suggestions in light of that, that would be great. But Amber Meadows says she uses a daily planner and writes down names on the daily pages. It's been a game changer for her. So I think really the idea is to get your brain on paper, because you're not gonna, because as you keep going, as you keep reaching out, it's impossible to remember everybody. I just think that I think having the list and even converting them from a reach out list to a follow-up list. If you have a list of people to reach out to, one thing that I've done when I reach out to them is I write, I either check them off that list and then add them to the follow-up list. Anybody else have any suggestions on that? No. As far as who's next on the list to reach out to, again, I think timing is everything. And so if you have someone that's just on your mind or on your heart, or you've prayed for someone and someone's on your mind to reach out to that person. Like, even if you haven't prayed and yet someone's just on your mind, like, man, they would be really great at this, or they could really benefit from these products. Reach out to that person. That person becomes the person to the top of the list, in my opinion. I mean, you can have a system to where, okay, my next 5, yes, but if there's somebody that's really, you just can't shake or get off your mind, I think that person goes to the top of the list. Because like I said, timing, I think, is everything. Timing is everything. Carissa says she has used the Doe app for keeping track of contacts and follow-ups as well.
So there's also a Healthy Habits workbook on Plexus Virtual Office. So that's like, it's kind of helpful because it has like categories like friends who have kids in college. It gives you prompts to think of names, and then you write their name, and then you have a couple of check boxes for follow-ups. So it's kind of a nice Plexus tool. I currently just use a note in my phone, but the Doe app has helped in the past too.
Yeah, the Doe app has been good. I use that. When was that? 2 or 3 years ago, maybe, something like that. I think we used that, and that was great. The one thing I liked about that was it spit out names every day of people to reach out to, and so it was really helpful. There wasn't a whole lot of thinking, about it, but I think the faster you can get your brain on paper, the better off you're going to be, as far as thinking of who to contact or who to follow up with. Have them on lists and separate lists. Who else has anything? Any questions? Has anybody got a response yet? That's one thing. Let's see. Any responses yet?
I have a pretty generic one. A fellow that I talked to in person this morning about it. He actually just saw my social media and then he said, all right, so tell me about this whole colon cleanse thing you're doing or whatever. And so I led him all through it, and I told him my reasons for doing it for myself and for, telling others about it. And then he was really, he understood all of my whys, and in terms of the science behind it, he understood that. And his response to my message, my follow-up message just now, was I've got my own regiment in full swing. I'm down 15 so far. And so I said, sweet, keep it going, and I may touch back. Obviously, I will touch back with him here in a couple months, but
yeah. One thing I want to make clear: when we do a reach out, we're not looking for someone to send us their credit card information and social security number on the spot. Probably not going to happen, right? What we're doing, like, we are creating dialogue when we reach out to somebody. So that's the cool thing about you with that guy. You have dialogue. That's all you can really ask for. You have a connection, and now you have dialogue. Now you have a follow-up list started, right? And it's not like you just didn't respond when he says, I have my own regimen going, logged down 15 pounds. You were still encouraging. Cool, sweet. Keep up the good work. And I think that that's key. So it's kind of like someone reaches out and no, I'm not interested, and like they don't even reply. That's you find out what type of person you're dealing with. But I think the thing is, we just have to be want to help people. So your response was perfect. And here's another response. I got one response. It says, I'm just reading the first time here. So with you, it says, thank you for reaching out. Unfortunately, I just don't have the money to afford doing the reset. It sounds super interesting, and I'm sure all the accountability and expertise will be amazing. Okay, so what do you do with that? Well, if you can't afford it, guess what? I have a business opportunity just for you. So I have dialogue with them though, so I'm not too freaked out. I'm not crushed. I'll throw out again the business opportunity and see if he wants to hear more about how to get your products paid for. What's better than Plexus products? Free Plexus products, right? So it's like, again, we're not trying to get, if the person says no, or they don't send you your credit card information, it's not over. And that wasn't the point of the reach out. The point of the reach out is connection. The point of the reach out is to start dialogue with someone, start a conversation with somebody. Any questions about any of that, or anybody else have a response they want to share with us? You get another response yet? Another thing, turn it into a game. Like, go for no. Just keep reaching out till you get a no for the day. You could do 3 no's. Just make it a game. Like, people are going to say no, right? I said no, right? And so it's just a part of this. That can't really be it's not a showstopper, right? And another thing is, like, I think it was Genevieve says, if they say no, what no means now they know, right? So now they have knowledge. So, and some of them will start to follow you even after they say no. They'll slip around, in the darkness and see what you're up to, see if this is a real deal or just some fad, So they may come back to you in 3 years. Hey, I'm ready. Just out of the blue. That happens quite often, actually. So any other comments or questions?
I have a question. When reaching out to people, is shorter better? Like, because you're trying to talk versus, I feel like maybe I unload maybe too much sometimes.
I think shorter is better on your initial reach out. There'll be time for more information later if they want it, right? Like,
right.
When I think when I first started, it would be like, hey, have you heard of Plexus? We're a gut health company. We're located at such and such Pima Avenue in Scottsdale, Arizona, zip code. And then this is all we do. And it's like, gross. Like you're chasing after him in the parking lot. Wait, come back. I'm not done with my elevator speech, right? And so what are you trying to get out of the reach out? I think that's really the question. Because you're probably not going to get, you could get a sign up out of your initial reach out, but and it does happen, but probably not. Like, so you have to be like, your mindset has to be, what am I really trying to create here with this reach out? Of course, we want to sign the person up and get them started. But if it's your initial reach out, give the person and yourself some grace, right? It may take several reach outs. It may take several follow-ups. It may take several samples for someone to sign up. So I think shorter is better. We're just looking for a pulse, kind of, right? We're not just going to go around looking to just like give CPR to people, you were looking for a pulse here first, right? And so I think, and working with the living is what I recommend. Anybody else have thoughts on that?
I have thoughts on that. When you said keeping it short in the message conversations, hopefully my kids aren't too loud. Another amazing Genevieve suggestion has to do with saving some of that. You were talking about, like, there'll be time for the information. Mm-hmm. Same thing with posting and marketing. saving some of those finer details for a little later in the conversation. And she gave this really great analogy. She said, okay, so if I'm selling staplers, I want to connect with you emotionally for why you should want one of these. So for instance, I'd be showing you piles of paper all over my floor and being like, I used to think there was nothing I could do about this. And talking about how on emotional level, I used to think that all of my papers would just be all over my floor, you know, connecting on the emotion first, and then you'll get to the point where there's time for that information. So in your marketing and in your reach outs.
Yeah, it's kind of like fishing. I mean, you're not going to throw your whole tackle box into the water and just like hope you catch something. Like, you'll use one lure at a time, right? And so you're not going to throw everything you have at once out there. And so you're just looking for a conversation. You're just looking for a connection is what you're looking for. You're not looking for a close. I think most people, when they do a reach out, they're looking for a close and it doesn't happen and they get frustrated. Well, change your mindset on why you're actually reaching out, right? Of course, we want a close, you know, sales talk, but there's probably going to be some work that has to happen before that close happens. And the initial reach out is probably not going to be the only thing you're going to have to do to quote unquote close that person. It will happen on occasion, but you know, especially if you're dealing with guys, because guys are just naturally skeptical. So who else has something? Lovely Megan, do you have anything to share as you're driving the big family bus down the road there? No? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, and Rachel agrees with the emotional connection. So if anybody doesn't have anything else to share or any other questions, we are going to go ahead and stop the Zoom call. Just a reminder, so Tuesday is going to be the beginning of a 3-day reset that's going to be led by men. So that'll be fun. We'll have a good time with that. And be inviting people. If you're wanting to invite certain people to be on that, or guys, they probably are going to need to get their products ordered pretty quick. I'd say like today or early tomorrow to be here in time to start to be able to do the reset with us. Now, if the timing is not good, you can always start them on the reset later and then plug them back into the group. The group is like it's kind of a constantly rotating group. So like there's one 3-day reset, there'll be another one soon. So we can always plug them in, but this one's just kind of different because it's being led by guys. So that might be appealing to guys that are on your reach out list. So if no questions, this reset's going to be a lot of fun. So be paying attention to that. I will get this recording up on a YouTube link and I will add it onto, where should I add it? Should I add on Streams in the Desert, or should I add it on the
Yeah, what you want to just edit your post, you can just put the replay in place of the Zoom link.
Okay.
Okay.
We can do that. So be looking for that, or be able to, even be tagging people on that post if they want to catch this later. So that's all I got, guys. Have a great day. See ya.